Gaming Today presents Cash Considerations.
Welcome to the Cash Considerations podcast. Today is Thursday, September 3rd. 1 week away from the NFL. We are into September. Labor Day is coming up. Somehow the Kentucky Derby's in September, and it's on Saturday. Everything else is happening. Every sport is happening, boys. It's September. I don't even know what to do, but we're going to talk about it all. We got a special guest today who we're going to keep here for the whole show. And I can't wait to bring you guys, our audience, bring you him because he's one of the best in the business and a very good friend of mine. So we're going to have a lot of fun with that. Before we do, let's bring in the boys. They're back together. One box on YouTube on the feed. Two guys. First, AB, Alan Berg, at Percent Berg. What's up, brother?
It's going to take everything I have not to beat this guy up with this microphone sitting in front of me, but I'm going to do my best.
I don't know why you let me in the house.
That's why.
Yeah, that's
so that I had that opportunity.
Just letting anybody in your house. It's your fault.
So he's back after a 1 week hiatus. He was a healthy scratch last week. Just couldn't make it to the show, but he did make it to the barber shop. The fade is incredible. He is at These Takes. Mo Toy Pearson. What's up, Mo?
Shout out to Rain Barbershop. Always.
Always.
I got to do that already. But yeah, I'm back. I'm glad I haven't got kicked off yet. So I'm still kind of running on fumes, I guess. But I'm glad to be back with the boys.
That's good. We're glad to have you. And you've used your pass. Don't fight. And it's still, Allen is about a 320 favorite. I'm just letting you know. Mo. That's the opening number. That's where it stands.
Disrespectful.
Yeah, pretty short number.
Producing the show, the best producer in the business. I laid a big price on him today, knowing that he was going to get it all together, and I cashed that ticket. I am Reynolds 2305 in the corner, the hat tip right there, and he is making sure it all works. And talk about making it work. We're bringing in a guest today who, if you're in the sports gambling world, you probably know, and if you don't, you probably need to know. He's all over the place. He's on Twitter. He's on different shows. Let's bring him in first. His name is Matt Perrault. Matt, what's up?
I appreciate the invite. This is going to be very different. Normally, Dave, you're on the receiving end of my questions. Now I get to get your question. So I do appreciate the invite. Happy to be here.
Yes, Matt is the true professional. He is at Sports Talk Matt on Twitter, the host of Pushing the Odds at Sports Map Radio, the host of the Daily Juice podcast at Betting Pros NFL. He's a part-time professor at UNLV, which we'll get to, which is amazing to me. And another hashtag Girl Dad, which I always love and appreciate. Special place in special parts for us because these girls are not easy. But let's just get to it right off the bat, dude. I do a show with you every week. We were at one point, we were talking 2 times a week. You give me bets, and we have this segment called Bostonian versus the Book on Pushing the Odds. You pick games every day right now. You are in mode. As a media guy, do you need to pick games every day? Is it necessary where this space is all at right now?
Well, I mean, for me, for the Daily Juice podcast, that's the whole gist of the podcast. It's a 15-minute pick podcast. So essentially I'm telling the audience what plays and what plays I'm fading and, what I think about the card for that given day. The radio show, I don't have to. It's just because I do the work for the podcast. It's like it's prep work, one prep work for 2 shows. So it just makes its way into where I am. So like when you're on Thursday, I'm asking you about the picks I've already bet for the podcast. So it's just, and I'll add, I mean, I hate betting baseball right now because I can't bet baseball for the podcast because I do it overnight. So we're on the West Coast. So I tape the podcast at about 11 o'clock at night. It drops on the East Coast when everybody gets up. So the books so far over the last couple of weeks, they're holding back all their overnight numbers. No one's really putting up overnight numbers. The double headers are horrible. So the game 2 starters, we don't have any idea who's going to be there. So like, I just don't bet baseball right now, really. And then I will use baseball on the radio show because it starts at 10 o'clock Pacific time, 1 o'clock Eastern. So that's the only real differential right now in terms of where I'm betting and the information. But for the most part, it's the same plays on both spots.
So, do you feel like, I mean, the radio show is great. And if you guys don't listen to it, download the podcast, Pushing the Odds. It's a sports talk show with a gambling spin, because you get guests from all over and you're bringing them into your space, and you're not necessarily always talking gambling, but somehow when you do the interviews, it gets around to something.
Yeah, I mean, I think the important piece of the space right now is that the average gambler is a $25 a game better, right? I mean, I'm trying to talk to the guy who's listening to every other radio show in the country, but I'm trying to give it from a sports gambling perspective. So if we're breaking down the Celtics and the Raptors, we're saying, okay, talking about a slow pace and the lack of 3-point shooting for Toronto and the turnovers for Boston, what does that mean for the game itself? Everyone's doing that. I try to take the line and say, okay, it's 215. It's been bet up to 217. People think it's going to be high scoring. Here's why I'm going the other way. I bet the under in game 1 and game 2. I expect the same thing to happen because Boston's not going to hit threes the way that Marcus Smart hit in the fourth quarter and blah, blah, blah. So like, I'm using the information that you guys provide to us to push the same conversation that everybody else is doing, but I'm using it from a gambling perspective.
Like the second period overs. Like,
Well,
again, let's tell everybody about the second period over, because it's been a monster so far.
Well, it hit already tonight, at a time of taping, and we're right now, the Golden Knights are in the second period as we're taping this, so I don't know if we're going to hit again tonight. But this is now it was funny. I was talking to a guy who was listening to my podcast, and he was asking me, because we were playing first period unders, and I brought that to your attention a while ago. I said, what about first period unders? And you were like, everybody on Instagram is talking about first period unders. This is ridiculous. Once everyone knows about it, there's no value because the books are going to juice it up. And you were right. One day you were like, that is going to go to minus 180. It's going to keep on climbing because it was cashing. And that's actually absolutely what happened. But when he asked me, what about third period? I said, actually, don't look up third period. Go pull second period unders. Second period overs for me. And he went and pulled it up, and he was like, holy crap. He's like, wait a minute. And so we found a couple days ago, it's on a 15-4 run for second period overs, 1.5 goals. And if you go to 2 goals, it's still hitting even with 2 goals, thanks to what's going on with the Avalanche and the Stars. It's just ridiculous. So tonight it hit again with the Islanders and the Flyers. It hit again. So it's on a 16-5 run right now. So it's basically 75% that second period overs in the second round of the playoffs is ridiculous. And I mean, I'm surprised it hasn't been talked about more, but the juice is starting to go up again. Like you mentioned, the books are figuring it out. You guys are watching it going, all right, we got to go 170, 180. We got to keep on juicing it up, trying to entice the other way. But I mean, we've seen like William Hill had 2.5 goals at one point because they're getting beat so bad, like 2.5 goals in a period. They're like, screw it. We're going to jack the thing way up.
Yep.
So
that's basically saying stop betting it. That's all that's saying. Stop betting it.
It's waving
like
the white flag.
Mo would be pounding the ove. That's what we say on the show. We've shortened it to ove and un because that's the way it appears on the keyboard that we all learned this business on.
Okay.
It says ove un. So if you ever hear us, today or in the future refer to something as an over and un, that's where you get it.
Yeah.
I haven't heard about this second period over. Where was I at?
You were sleeping, Mo.
No,
you missed the show.
There was something,
you missed
16-5 sounds
show,
insane.
Mo.
How am I not involved in any of that?
That's amazing, right? Well, you got to listen to the show. I mean, the show, Matt does the show. It's sponsored by Circus Sports, Mo. The show right now is
I don't know about that. I don't know about
that. All right, well, you got to get out of the risk room.
I've never heard about that place.
I'm not kicking the leg.
Bullshit. Matt, so in the space too, in addition to like talking about these types of things, the reporting of big bets has become, I don't know if it's overbearing or if it's important or people are interested in it or they're not. Where do you stand as a media guy? Do you want to hear the big bets? Are you interested to report the big bets? And do you think the regular Joe wants to see the big bets?
I know the regular Joe wants to see the big bets. I'm just very skeptical as to why the big bets are being reported. So I've started to become very skeptical and very, what's the word? I believe there's an ulterior motive as to why those things come out. So while the big bets do get clicks and do get attention and why people like to speculate, and what really kind of it jumped the shark for me when John Anik was talking about big wagers during the UFC fights. And he was like, oh, $1 million came in on so-and-so. And I was like, holy shit, hold on a second. Let's pump the brakes on this whole – if we're now going on air and the broadcasters, which I like, by the way, but if it's making it all the way to the broadcasters, and John Anik does gamble, I know him well, I've known him for years, but just the fact that he is actually talking on air during a UFC event about the money coming in, that's when I kind of went, all right, we're going a little bit overboard here as to they're after the publicity more than anything. So – why those are being reported, I'm now very skeptical over. So yes, the public wants to hear it, but I'm less likely to talk about it on my show unless there's a gigantic, really crazy bet come in.
You think people on average more root for those to win, or are they seeing them and rooting against them?
I think people root for the crazy parlays to hit because they can relate. I think they like to laugh at the $500,000 guy losing. So I think they love the $2 parlay that cashes for 10 grand. They love that because that's what they do. But no one ever could imagine putting $500,000, $500,000 down on a bet, and they love seeing that because they're like, "Ha ha, you idiot! You just blew $500,000." So I think that's the general feeling from the public.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I think you're onto something with the mention of the big bets. That's a way that it's going, and again. You're just randomly seeing them, and they're different events.
It's all about publicity, right? I mean, that's the name of the game in New Jersey. It's all about finding your way. So, like, take Indiana or take Iowa or take Illinois. I mean, everyone's just trying to get their name out. So, like, I think sometimes these books are taking these bets. They don't care if they win or lose them because they're going to push it out there and get $500,000, $2 million, $10 million worth of free pub. I mean, how much money would it cost to make John Anik mention your tweet on a UFC pay-per-view? I mean,
you would know better than us. It's a ton of money, right?
I mean, a ton of money. I mean, it's so much money. So, like, if you're taking that wager, if you win, that's great. You double dip. But if you lose, okay, who cares? It's like we bought an advertisement campaign to advertise with the UFC. So I think that there's a lot of that going on when it comes to these bets that are being taken. And it's not necessarily coming – the one thing that I've learned the most now being in Vegas here for 5 years is it's so often that guys are coming off the floor and they're rolling – it's not real money. It's they're taking what they've got from a marker, or they're taking what they've got left over. They got to spend it to go ahead and get that suite or whatever. And they go ahead and drop 10 grand, 40 grand, 100 grand, whatever it might be. So it's not really, and then they go and report that bet like, oh, we just took 100 grand on such and such. And it's like, all right, how much of that? It's not really a dude walking in off the street with a bag and going, here's 100 grand.
That happens though. The bad guys come in. That has happened. And I've personally taking those bets and seen the bag myself. So those do happen.
I like the term bad guys.
The bad guys.
Like bad guys.
I love the bad guys. Yep.
Bad guys.
Yeah,
you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. Hey, that's the bad guys, and that's the bad guys.
That's right. Yeah.
Are they the same or are they different?
They might be different. I don't know, but it could go. It could go the same.
They're on a first name basis.
Sometimes the bad guys bring the bad guys with them.
Oh yes, or they're representing the bad guys, right? The bad guys are representing the bad guy.
Yeah. Matt, what do you see for the future of this space? You need to. I mean, like it's just a big pile of shit, and everyone's jumping in. Where is this going from somebody that's been doing radio you've been doing this for 20 years, right?
Yeah, I've been doing radio for a long time. Look, I've hitched my wagon to this. So maybe I'm a little biased when I'm saying that this is the future and we're not quite there yet, but I really do believe that, and I was part of, and I readily admit that I was part of the bomb throwing section of the media. And for the better part of, a good part of my career, I was known as someone that would rile up people, piss people off. Yeah. But I mean, and you know me as a calm dude. I mean, this is me calm. Okay. So imagine me 10 years ago when I wasn't married, no kids, and didn't give a shit. And I would just go ahead and throw verbal javelins at anyone. I didn't care who I pissed off. So I would go into markets where, I went into Omaha, Nebraska, and I tore the shit out of Husker fans for years and just drove them crazy. Like I just said, I literally walked into Omaha, Nebraska, and I literally told them that you guys suck and you're not the SEC. I covered Bama for 5 years. That's where I moved from. And I'm like, you guys think you're special? I was like, get the fuck out of here. You guys aren't special. I was like, no. It was like, no.
Hey, Matt, can you do me a favor? Can you move to Pittsburgh?
And do the same thing?
Whoa!
That's easy, though. Steelers can't beat the Patriots. The Pirates suck, and the Penguins are nothing. So that's
He
easy.
did that in 2 seconds.
That's easy.
Bullshit.
So, I don't.
That was like breathing.
Yeah, and what is Pitt, by the way? Like, see you later. So, yeah, Penn State's fine, but you got to drive 2 hours to get to Penn State.
Are they fine?
Are they? That's a
Yeah,
great question.
So, like, so for me now in the media space, and now coming in here and doing sports talk radio, where I truly believe that the bomb throwing sections, the people who piss people off, no offense, I'm not trying to insult Stephen A. Smith, but that type of stuff, the Skip Baylesses of the world, that type of stuff is going away. And people are going to want to know right away whether you're right or wrong. The hypothetical bullshit, like, okay, is Michael Jordan the best player ever? Is LeBron James the modern version of Michael? Like, all those things that have been staples in sports talk radio are going away. I want to know tonight. I want to know, are the Islanders better than the Flyers tonight? Are they closing the series out tonight? Can I make money tonight? So that instant gratification all comes from the millennials who are on their phones constantly, who love Twitter, who want things instantly right in their hands, and they don't want to wait. They want that instant satisfaction, that instant gratification. So that's where sports gambling and sports radio come together perfectly. So I saw this 5 years ago, and I went to my bosses and I was like, I want to do this. I want to do this. And they took about a year of convincing before they finally let me do Pushing the Odds, and they moved me to middays to start the radio show. And we initially were coming, first we were coming out of my home studio when it first began, like Papsville, where we are right here. Papsville broke and I was sitting here, and then we went to the Palms, and that's when things really changed for the radio show. Is Dave coming in and doing the stuff that we were doing twice a week, and we just really started to establish ourselves in the space. And I started working for, like, I think last football season I worked for 5 different companies doing different work in the space, and I just feel like there is such a laundry list of things to come that the industry is going to change media-wise. But the one thing that I hope is that the handicapper, scandicapper, rip you off person that has been in this space for so long is going to be gone. And people will be able to recognize and say, all right, is this person actually knowing what he's talking about and not trying to rip me off? Or is this person trying to make me buy his picks or buy money off of him? So that part of the industry, I hope, goes away fast, and we get more into. And look, ESPN has invested big here, and Doug Gazarian is a phenomenal guy. Joe Fortenbaugh getting moved back to Vegas, awesome guys. Like, more guys like that in the space, the better we'll be.
It's tough because you got to balance between it all. And I mean, do you see how important is social media in the growth of this business or this media part of the business? It's incredible, isn't it?
It's lifeblood. I mean, literally it's lifeblood because it's instantaneous, right? It's that ability. Like, I'll just tell a quick story. We started the Daily Juice podcast on July the 8th. And so we're now approaching, 2 months, going on our 3rd month of that podcast. And I already have listeners in 8 different countries, and it's all from social media. It's all from iTunes. It's all from being on Twitter and just having people retweet me or write me or whatever. And it's crazy. Like, I wake up in the morning every day, I have DMs from Mexico, DMs from Germany, DMs from New Zealand. I mean, just people who are listening and want to know about different, because a lot of times in those countries, they don't have the same type of content that we have here. So there's less competition. And if you go searching for it, you come into it and you find it. So social media is the number one most important piece. And if you aren't active on Twitter and you aren't active in the media and social media, you're not going to be around for a long time.
You're not active on this planet.
Right.
Yep.
You don't exist, unfortunately.
Yeah,
I mean,
you're dead. You're dead. You're a dead man. If
I
you don't have
don't-
a Twitter, you're a dead man.
Right. I don't mean to say, I mean, it sucks in some ways, right? I mean, because there are really talented people who might really hate not to be on their phones 24 hours a day. But realistically, that's where this world is living right now, is on our phones and living on Twitter, and in particular the sports world, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Yep.
No, 100%.
vicariously watching games. I mean, how much of us we're stuck, we're stuck away from each other anyway. And now we
Yep.
get to watch games together, at least through the Twitter sphere. And,
Right.
Reynolds,
make a note.
People are tearing through Twitter for info. That's like another big deal.
yeah.
We
You
have
want
to
to find info, you're on Twitter searching any keywords possible to just get anything, like any edge, and you're trying to, like, once you get it, you're blasting any number that's off or anything like that.
You're like ankle. Send.
Boom. Yep.
I'm looking up anybody's ankle. I don't
Bones
care.
Do
fracture.
me a favor, fellas. Look up how to say, like, cash considerations in Spanish and in a couple other languages for the other countries. And we'll start direct marketing to Switzerland maybe, and Mexico and everywhere else.
Yeah, I'm
So
down to get
Canada.
Swiss money.
Canada's huge. I mean, Canada's
huge
got a
fan-
huge.
we have a
huge
lot of
market.
fans in Canada. Big
Yeah.
up in Edmonton and Calgary are huge markets for us. They love the show up there.
And it's funny too because Canada. I have bet more hockey in the last 2 months than I have bet in months. I mean years. I mean, it's just been a wild ride because of the bubble and because of when the games are played. And frankly, I've been doing incredibly well. So like the more I cash, the more I keep going with it. I'm like, well, shoot, we're winning. So let's see what we're doing here and finding different angles. And I've had people write me like, hey, I really appreciate you doing hockey. We don't hear enough hockey handicapping in the world. And that really is true. I mean, you go to ESPN, right? You go to ESPN and I get this thing every morning. I get this rundown of audio that's sent to me from my work. When I tell you that hockey audio doesn't exist, it doesn't exist. Post-game, game calls, nothing. Like, it just doesn't exist. I'm always like, where is that overtime goal call? Nah, I got to go find it on NHL.com. I got to go rip it off the website. It's a lot of work to go do it. Or everything else, like the NBA, every NBA game, I have at least 15 cuts, at least 15 different audio samples I can use every day to play. So the NHL does not do a very good job. And the public really, I mean, for whatever reason, it's been just kind of shuffled to the bottom and people don't think they like it.
ESPN doesn't have any stake in it.
That's
where they get a burial from right there.
Yeah, true. Right. And once they kind of waved off of it and once they went and said, okay, we're going to push the UFC, that's going to be our fourth, not the NHL. Yeah. It pushes it behind and it really depends on the market, I guess. It is, I was born and raised in Boston, so I'm from a city that obviously loves hockey. I never played hockey growing up. I just loved watching it. I loved Hockey East. College hockey is what basically my first ever sporting events going to was Hockey East, going to Merrimack College in North Andover. I was raised in Andover, so we'd go to Hockey East. And at the time, they were playing D2 hockey and winning D2 national championships before moving up to Division I. So like that was my little 8-year-old, 9-year-old running around during the weekends was when Hockey East, tournaments were going in these wooden bleachers of Merrimack College. So, I mean, that was my experience doing it. So for me, I've always loved hockey, but it's nice to have it the way it is right now where we can watch it. These games are all individually siloed and we watch them on their own.
Well, I'm glad you're here then, because when we talk hockey, I'll have someone to talk about it, because the boys are like the regular people. They don't like hockey. They don't watch it.
He almost called us the regular people.
Whoa.
What does that mean?
Hey,
he almost called us the regular people.
Well, first of all, I love hockey.
What does that even mean?
So
Is that a real term?
That at me. I worked with Jeff. He was on hockey. I didn't have time to watch hockey. I had to watch NBA. That's the way it is.
No, but look, I mean, honestly, if I had a chance to watch an NBA game or a hocky game, I'm watching an NBA game. But
playoff?
I would too, but I still love hockey.
Yeah, I would. Yeah. If I had a choice, yeah. I mean, I'm just a basketball guy. That's the sport I played. That's what I did. I have way more knowledge of it. I understand it more. I mean, even the line changes still kind of confuse me at times when it comes to hockey. So like I'm not that great into it. I can go into I can talk about pick and roll plays and I can talk about defensive strategies and I can get into the game of basketball a hell of a lot more than I can in hockey. So I just watch it just because I understand it a lot more. But playoff hockey is unbelievable just from an energy standpoint and intensity standpoint. It makes, if you watch an NBA playoff game and an NHL playoff game and then put a baseball game on, it is like literally watching paint dry. Like, and I'm a baseball guy. Your
pulse went way down.
Yeah, it's just like
I really want the NBA to start on Christmas because I want the playoffs on different calendars because I do love both sports a lot. And I can't like right now I'm like I can't watch both things. It's just I can't stay up on it. If I'm in a sports book maybe, but
I think you're going to see that.
My attention.
I mean, Adam Silver already tipped his hand a bit by saying that that December 1st deadline's not that start date's not going to happen. So I think that they're going to go on Christmas. They've always dreamt of doing this, is going on Christmas and getting away from the NFL. I hope so too, because it makes perfect sense to do it that way. It was always just the pandemic, and it was always just you needed something like the pandemic to push them off of the November start date to get into Christmas. And I just think it's a perfect time to start on Christmas Day. You put on basketball and we start watching it throughout the entire time off. So I hope so.
Imagine being a kid too, and in the summertime, if you could have watched all these playoff games like in July when there's nothing going on but baseball. I mean, awesome.
It could be the final death nail on baseball, though. I mean, it could be.
Whoa.
It could
collateral damage.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, it really might. I'm telling you, baseball just doesn't have it. Baseball just doesn't. I am a huge person. I watched Ken Burns' documentary with my daughter because she started asking me all questions. She's 6 years old, started asking me about baseball. I'm like, why is baseball this and baseball that? And I was like, sit down and watch it. And she lasted about 20 minutes of Ken Burns' documentary and was like, I don't care about that. So she was just like, I'm done. So I was like, okay. I was like, I tried as a father, I tried to bring you into my baseball world.
But. A 6-year-old 20 minutes in the documentary, though. I mean,
that's pretty good.
That credit.
Yeah. She lasted about that long.
Oh man,
they
were
her
answer.
5.5 minutes is like it.
Yeah, her answer was, why is everything in black and white? She was getting really mad about the black and white pictures. She's like, I don't like, it's black and white. I like color. And she was like, see ya. So that, I tried to do my girl dad, like bringing my kid into like, I'm there like half in tears, like watching Ken Burns' documentary going, this is so special. And like, she's like,
pack it up.
Yeah, I'm done. YouTube kids.
The last, I got 2 questions for you, but I'll tie them into one. One, we know you had COVID, it run through the house. So I just wanted to check on the health of everybody and make sure you're okay. And 2, just tell me what you're doing at UNLV teaching kids, because I don't know. I can't believe you're actually teaching kids something. So COVID, UNLV professor, because I'm going to start calling you Professor Matt.
Yikes. Well, the COVID thing is an ongoing issue because obviously we don't know a lot about the virus. So my wife is a dental hygienist. She got it at work. And she got it in the beginning part of June. And so we pretty much knew she had it early. We isolated her in our master bedroom for about 8 days, trying to keep her away from my daughter and myself. But it's impossible once it's in the house. It's so difficult to keep COVID away. And my daughter ended up getting it, and my daughter ended up giving it to me. So I got it at the end of June. I went through the typical 2-week run with it where I had, basically a very bad cold and really bad chills and shakes and fever and cough and whatnot. But for me, the biggest problem has been the after of COVID, not the sickness itself. And it's been the problem that comes from after you're recovering from COVID. So about a month and a half after I was done with COVID, quote unquote, recovered from COVID, I started having severe chest pains and really bad problems. Put me back in the hospital for 2 days. I did not go in the hospital when I had COVID, not active in the hospital for 2 days. Basically every day between 4 and 6, I'm severely nauseous. And every day from about 6 to 7, I just want to lay down and not do anything. It comes and goes. It's literally in that time frame. It just, I can feel it coming on, and then it hits and I feel sick. And I just feel like I can't eat and it's horrible. And then by 6 o'clock, it's kind of going away. And then right after that nausea goes away, I just want to lay down and do nothing. And then come 7 o'clock, I'm back up and I'm good to go. I can't explain it. The doctors can't explain it. Nobody knows why. But given what other people are dealing with, it's not the most horrible thing. But my energy level is nowhere near what it was. My ability to work out is nowhere near what it was. And so I really don't know what my long-term with COVID will be. The only thing I care about is that my kid had COVID for a day and a half. And then after that, she was fine. And she's shown no symptoms, nothing, no problems at all since being diagnosed. So that's the real good benefit thing. And my wife she had it much worse, but she's now fully recovered as well without any real symptoms. So we're through it in terms of that, but you don't want to get that virus. Like, if you can keep yourself away from COVID, please keep yourself away from COVID-19. Okay. The class this is how I'm teaching. Okay.
This is segue.
Yeah, right. Hey, by the way,
classic right there.
COVID-19, into like.
And this is how I'm letting the kids know this as well. Kind of getting down.
Well, I told them all I had COVID, and their office were like, "What?" Like all the kids for UNLV were like, "What?" And I was like, "Yeah, we had COVID."
Are you teaching it like this? You said?
Yes. Yeah. This is how I'm teaching it. Online, not in person. Online entirely. I've never taught a college course before in my life. I'm teaching audio, and you can't share audio on Zoom or WebEx. You can share your screen, but you can't share audio. So like teaching an audio course to college kids when you can't show them, you can't play audio sucks. So I had all this when they offered me the job to come in and teach, I had all these ideas and like all these videos we were going to play and break down and talk about, and you can't do any of that. So I've had to like totally restructure and scrap what I'm wanting to do with these kids. And now having to teach it online, and it sucks. I mean, I'll tell you right. I mean, we're 4 classes in, and it is not easy. And my kid is going remote. I mean, Dave, your kids are going remote. I mean, it's just I don't know. I feel so badly for the elementary school and college. Yeah, I mean, just start downing alcohol after it's over. Just like
before it starts. Before it starts.
Yeah, fine. 8
Wake
a.m. in
up,
the morning.
get them signed on. It crashes. You sign them back on. It crashes again. Then you sign them on the third time. Are you good? Yes. I go right to the fridge.
Yeah, it just sucks. It just sucks. It's just there's no other way around it. And I get it. I mean, look at. I mean, my family, we've had COVID, so I'm not saying that the kids should be in school, but it is the most difficult thing I've ever watched. Luckily, we're in a position where my wife can be home 3 days a week. She works on Mondays and Tuesdays, so my wife is home with my daughter, and we take one of her good friends is also in first grade, so he comes here, and then Monday and Tuesdays my daughter goes to his house, so we do the whole like family swap thing. So we're in a position where we could actually, but not everyone's as lucky enough as we are to do that. And we're talking about families who have to both parents work, and they got a first grader or a second grader. How the hell do you do this? Like, how do you have your kid go to school over a camera in a computer if you have to go to work and you have to go out of the house? So it's really, really hard.
AB, hold up the can. What's the can? High Noon. You got the High Noon right there.
There you go.
For the YouTube video, High Noon, vodka and soda. It's become a regular staple at the Sheraton household as well, because
I've heard good stuff about that stuff.
Yeah, AB,
Really good.
Really good.
Speaking of that,
All right, well, that's going
get a quick trip.
finish the interview portion of the show. That's Matt Perrault at Sports Talk Matt, host of Pushing the Odds on Sports Talk Radio, host of the Daily Juice podcast at Betting Pros NFL, which is every day. That you do that every day, right?
Every single day, 365. We never take a day off.
That's a 7-day a week or just 5?
7 day.
Machine. You're a goddamn machine.
Every day, every single day.
Part-time professor at UNLV, full-time hashtag girl dad. He's staying with us for the rest of the show, which has me very excited. I hope it does you guys as well. Before we move on, I just want to remind you to be sure to sign up for the weekly Gaming Today newsletter, which highlights the latest stories from the sports betting and casino industry world. All you have to do is put your email address in the box on the gamingtoday.com homepage. Do that.
I had that nuggets.
There's an email list you get on. You get all the stories emailed to you and the link to the podcast as well. So that's all available.
We're done.
All right.
Points?
So, Matt, we do it like this. The boys, we send a rundown, and then they send it back to me and say, Big Dave, you're all fucked up.
So do I. Every day
You
on
don't
the
know
air.
what you're talking about.
After you hang up, I say the same thing.
Believe me, I listen to the show. I hear what you say about me. I know. Well, so we're going to start with the NBA because apparently that's what everybody likes. And I'm the only one that doesn't. I like to put that in the back end. So,
Matt, it was in last place on the rundown, and I was like, what are we doing?
I wasn't mad at it.
Wow.
I wasn't mad at it.
The NBA was in last
I don't want to
place?
start throwing too many big shots around here, but I mean, that was the worst rundown Dave has sent in a few weeks.
What is going on right now?
Like, Dave, like,
Dave.
No, Dave.
what's your anger?
It's like, I got to go back
What's
to
your
the
anger?
refrigerator. This is ridiculous.
What's your anger, man?
Hey,
I thought Mo was hosting the show. I really did. I thought Mo was hosting the show. He was going to be punished for not showing up last week. So I sent a
You're
rundown.
killing it right now.
I sent a rundown
that job ever
that was going to bury him.
Perrault would have been left.
bury
if I
him
was
forever.
asking Questions.
So, yeah. So,
I don't know
tried my
about this
best.
anymore. I'm out of here. I'm gone.
So let's just start in the Western Conference. And I'll go to you first, Matt,
All right.
because you're here. Is it really going to be that easy? Are we just going to see Lakers and Clippers and it's done? Like, is that already penciled out?
Well, let me hear real quick, find out what the score is of game one before I answer that question. And it's 102-78 Clippers. Yes, it's going to be that easy.
Yeah. Very
Yes.
nice. Very nice.
Yes.
I
So
like that.
yes,
I
it's
like
going to be
that.
it's going to be that
Good
easy.
stuff.
And I was wrong to take the Nuggets today at +9. So that was a bad pick on me. I thought Denver might hang a little bit there, but that is
Good.
an absolute shellacking.
When did that
Good
close?
good instant research there, though. That was
Oh, it's
good
beautiful.
material.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, that's what he does. He's on that damn phone. He's doing the show, texting me at times.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
He's multitask better than anybody I know. We've done the show together in person.
Yes.
We've done 20 minutes of between commercials, and he never looked at me once. It's unbelievable. It's amazing. He's got 2 screens, phone, and I'm like talking to him, and he ain't looking.
And that's because I've done this for 20 years. So there are some times where I will admit you can throw your brain into autopilot and you can just talk, and you're just sort of talking about. I know what I'm saying, but I'm doing 3 things. My eyes are in other places. My mouth is going forward, but I'm going other way.
That's how I do it, but I'm just only doing one thing though. Like, I'm not really doing anything else.
Yeah. So it comes from practice, I guess.
AB, who's favored? If we see LA, what is the line Lakers Clippers series price? Just first thought comes to your head. Matt, we're going to you last. We're going to go to the odds makers first.
But where? Here or Jersey?
Oh, you think it's different? Oh, well then you'll bring in that into the equation.
Wait, are they going to move the playoffs?
What do we put up?
I think the numbers are going to be different here.
Oh, I got you. I think Lakers minus 115.
Yeah.
Mo, you're in agreement?
Yeah. 115 sounds right.
Clippers in Jersey are favored.
I have Clippers favored minus 120.
Okay. I think Lakers are favored here. So I think if you guys hung a number that had the Clippers favored, you'd be hammered by Laker money within 20 seconds. You posting that number with the Lakers catching anything plus 105 Lakers. You're coming in with Lakers money.
I guess that's what it is. Like, it's just depending on where you want to take a bet.
Well,
put it out.
Hot take for me. I think they should be the favorite.
Lakers?
Yeah.
I think the Lakers should be the favorite too, but I think the Clippers are going to. I don't know if they're going to sweep. Would you, AB? You think a sweep? They sweep the Nuggets?
Probably.
Yeah. This feels like a sweep. I think the Rockets get 2 games. I think it's 5 or 6 games, and I think they're going to be closer than you think. I don't think the Nuggets are going to cover one. They may cover one of the 4 games. They're going to get blown out. So perception-wise, by the time we get to this series, and we're already a week away. But I'm just trying to play it out because we don't do the show again until next week. I'm thinking you're going to see some places put up Clippers small favorite. Not that I agree with it, but I see what your point is. You think the Lakers win that series, AB?
I think they win in 7.
Battle,
yeah,
right?
Battle. Absolute battle, yeah. Each
Mo?
game's close. I mean, that's why I feel like the line should basically be a pick 'em. I don't think there is a favorite. I think they have the 2 best players. But the Clippers obviously have the depth, so it's going to be a battle of that, really. But I think at the end of the day, I mean, LeBron and Anthony Davis are just so good that it's really hard to take those guys down enough, I think. I don't know.
Mo, you wearing the Lakers shirt all the time. Kobe's your guy forever. Lakers win it? That series.
Yeah. The Lakers are going to win it all.
Oh.
I'm letting you know that right now.
There's losing in the finals.
Never. No. There's no way. That's all I have to say. There's no way.
Perrault, where are you?
They're not losing.
They're never losing.
They're not going to lose that. I just know if they get to the finals, they're not going to lose it.
You have to give me a better dog price than anywhere in town when they make it.
We'll discuss that between each other.
All right.
Yeah. Because if we do it on air and it goes bad, I'm going to have to hear about it from everyone.
Everyone.
About the worst price, and I'm giving it to Alan. This is brutal.
So you think the price is different in Jersey, Matt? You think the Clippers are favored in Jersey, Lakers are favored here. Who would you lean toward saying is going to win that series?
Clippers, because of the fact that you don't have Rondo. I think that this is going to be – if Rondo's playing, I may correct myself on this. We'll see what his health status is. His back is an issue. Obviously, the hand kept him out for a long time. I would like to see what he looks like if he's going to play in the series against the Rockets. I want to see what he looks like. But I think the backcourt issue, Avery Bradley not playing, I think this is when it really catches up to them, given the waves that the Clippers are going to throw at them. And I just think that they match up really well. And Kawhi is just younger, hungrier. I think that when the lights go bright, I don't think we've seen the best of the Clippers at all here in this bubble. And LeBron is too much of a facilitator right now for me. He's passing the basketball way too much. And he's asking Anthony Davis to win a championship. And I'm not saying he can't. I'm just saying not against the Clippers.
LeBron's giving the Blazers a quiet 35. Like, I don't understand. What do you mean? What do you mean? Like, I remember I woke up. I wasn't even watching the game. There was just LeBron's got 38.
I'm going to say this.
Against 38 points, no one cares?
Against Portland, you could score 30 points.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, that's
okay.
That's very solid.
He has no outside game. He cannot shoot anymore.
Okay, so I'm not going to give LeBron much credit for going up against that team defensively that gave up 38% shooting from behind the three-point line, second worst in the NBA.
Because he's a facilitator, but I mean, he can give you 40 points if he wanted to on a good night. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I mean, I have a hard time doubting
against
LeBron
the Clippers
when it gets down to it. But I would never doubt Kawhi either. So I mean,
can LeBron put 30 on Kawhi?
Oof, man.
Because that's what's going to happen. That's what's gonna. You're gonna get Kawhi on LeBron. LeBron's gonna get locked down by Kawhi, and it comes down to the other players on that team to be able to handle Anthony Davis.
Alex Caruso can do it. He's the
Alex
one.
Caruso.
Yeah, he's the one. He can.
Hold on.
Okay.
No, I was just gonna say.
Quick backstory. Quick backstory. Okay, Alex Caruso was a high school basketball recruit when I was working for Rivals, and he almost went to Creighton University. He went to Texas A&M. Okay, that dude is a fluke. That is a fluke story. If your championship whole pick is resting on Alex Balding Head Caruso, you got some problems. Okay,
first off, I want this cut up so everyone can see this on any social media because this is incredible.
Go ahead. Okay,
and
there's Alex.
No,
Caruso.
the deal is that my man Kawhi, who I love, and you all know this because Raptors, he's gonna get in a lot of foul trouble magically in this series.
Is Scott
Very
Foster
hot
working?
take. Yep.
Seemingly take.
The
How many
referee.
games is Scott Foster working?
Ooh, yeah, we got to find that out. The information, the referee information has become very important in the gambling world. We
But
need
that
to
sucks.
know
Okay,
who
that
the
sucks.
referees are. It does
Right.
suck, but
that
it's
sucks.
true.
It should not be that way. But I hate that is in there. But it absolutely is. Your ATS with guys working your games is now a very valid stat.
Yep, it is.
And one franchise is still the Yankees, and one franchise is still the Mets. So let's not forget that also.
Yeah, but I mean, look, Ballmer's building a new place inside of LA. I mean,
we're handing it off.
It's not there yet.
I know, but if you were the NBA really, and you wanted to plan for the future, the Clippers winning a championship, there's more money. There's more money to make there than there is with the Lakers, right?
No, because they still have LeBron.
They do, but I think for the long run,
really
LeBron's on the tail end.
LeBron angle, I think, at this moment.
He's an icon. I mean, I'm not a fan of the guy. I'm not. But
yeah,
Kawhi is great for us basketball guys, but he's not LeBron.
Not yet.
Yes.
If he wins another MVP, if he wins a third NBA Finals MVP with a third different team, I mean, that's LeBron.
And I agree with you. And I as a huge fan of Tim Duncan. He's Tim Duncan, though. Like, no one's ever going to be like, oh, man, like, I love Kawhi in the way that they like superstars. He doesn't have that, I don't know, that extra thing that LeBron and Kobe and Jordan and those guys have. On the court, sure, but
right. Off the court, yeah, maybe. I mean, there's something to be said. I mean, I'm not. Yeah, I mean, he's not a mogul, if you will. I mean, he's no desire.
That's all I'm saying.
He has no desire.
The NBA loves moguls. That's
true. It's built on that. I'm not debating that. He's built on that. But again, the Clipper brand, I think there's more money to be made. They have a deeper well to go ahead and drill down on than the Lakers. And the Lakers already own LA. The Clippers could take it over. And if they took it over, that rivalry, if the Clippers actually had a championship ring to go and talk, like look at the Red Sox and the Yankees. I couldn't talk smack at all until the Red Sox won in 2004.
And now we can't shut you guys up.
And now he can't shut us up. Okay, so now we've won 4. Okay, we won
Reynolds
1.
is getting the mute button ready right now.
we won 4 now. So now it's like, okay, boys, let's talk about from 2000. And you Yankee fans.
Wait. Let's talk about the Red Sox in 2020. How they doing?
But this is fake baseball. Who gives a fuck?
Oh,
it's done. It's done.
Right.
Who cares?
Yeah.
This is my type of guy. He knows how to go about everything.
He's the best. I'm telling you, he's the best.
Who cares? It's fake. So I don't care. It's fake baseball. It is. Of course it's fake. It's a 60-game season. Of course it's fake, right? They have runners on second base with extra innings, and they play 7-inning doubleheaders.
That's a great thing.
No, that sucks. The stupidest thing ever. Why are you manufacturing runs and then hanging actual run line numbers and hanging totals with runners on second base when it comes to, how hard it is to bet an under right now in baseball if it goes to extra innings? You're screwed. No, it's fake. This sucks. It sucks. I hate betting baseball right now. It's absolutely, I can't stand it.
Speaking of fake, let's stay in the NBA. It's a real life heat check in the Eastern Conference. I mean,
so mad.
That was such a great line.
The East,
I like that.
The Heat are going to beat the Bucks, and they're going to play the Celtics. I feel like we're stepping back in time a little bit. No, Matt, you don't think so?
We're already off the Bucks. We're off.
Look, I get. Yeah, you got to be careful of both the Bucks and the Raptors. Look, that shot that went down tonight. That's. Boston really messed up there tonight. I mean, Boston had a real.
Now this is a Boston fan jumping off. Okay,
I'm not jumping off. No. I bet the Celtics to win the series. Okay, I bet them in the beginning. I bet them before they're up 2-0. I bet them at plus 125. So I have money on Boston to win.
Okay,
I'm just saying. I hate when you have a chance to step on someone's neck and knock it out, and then you give up a 3-point shot at the buzzer and they win game 3. Game 4 is going to be really, really important. If Boston loses game 4, game on, and for the momentum. That's a championship caliber team. They've won the ring, and they're cocky as hell. I mean, Lowry is no joke. Siakam is, you get those guys hot, you get them moving, you get them feeling good about themselves. Boston's still very young. I mean, Tatum and Brown are still 23 years old. So I'm not good about, I mean, that shot that went down tonight, that was huge for the Raptors. So I'm not guaranteeing it's going to be Boston-Miami.
The crazy part of that series, too, is that the Raptors have only played one bad quarter, and it cost them game 1. And every other quarter has been,
yeah, but they shot like hell, though. But they've shot really poorly from behind the arc for all 3
absolutely.
games.
And that's to the point of what that you're making, that if they start getting their shots to fall, it's all of a sudden this is a different deal here. So
because Boston turned the ball over all 3 games, Boston's had way too many turnovers. It's driving Brad Stevens crazy. And
sure, that Raptor D is no joke.
Yeah, but it's they've not turned those turnovers into points. So that's been the benefit for Boston. And that's why I bet the under for the first 3 games. And it's hit every time because they're not turning those turnovers. But if those turnovers start turning into 3-pointers, and we're seeing in transition, we're seeing Lowry, knock down threes in transition. He's going off for 30, 35 points. Siakam has played really poorly in these first 3 games. If he starts playing really well, he had 2 points in the first half tonight. I mean, that's an all-star, and that's not.
Yeah.
So if he gets going, I think that thing is long from over. The Bucks are a wacko team because they have played like crap in the bubble. Their defense is broken, like shattered into a million pieces. And I think Giannis leaving is a legitimate conversation talking point right now about this.
He might be leaving this bubble in 2 more games. What the hell is going on? I mean,
and then leaving Milwaukee and then being like, see ya.
Yeah. But I mean, boys in the box over here, Mo, are the Bucks done? Are you ready to bet the Heat like to advance or what?
Man, I mean, you guys watched that last 30 seconds of the game 2. I mean, well, just the fact that the Bucks even had a chance to win that game was just absurd.
Almost impossible, really.
Yeah, but
justice.
Well, was it?
Yeah.
AOT, Association of Trash.
Get out of my house.
I don't know. I still like the Bucks just as much as Matt was talking about the Raptors actually having a chance to come back as well. I mean, they're still just as talented. I can't imagine them kind of, especially back down like this. I mean, they're a well-coached team. I imagine them getting off to a hard start. It's funny. The Heat have been shooting incredibly well. I guess it's kind of a morale buster that, with Butler only scoring like 6 or 8 points and the rest of the Heat team kind of keeping them in double digits for the most of the game was a big deal for the Heat. But when the Bucks when they get going, it's hard to stop them. I think the only time they beat the Heat is when they had to come back from like 20 points down. I don't know if they won by like 17, but when the Bucks start to get going, which I think they will at some point here, they'll be tough to beat. I wouldn't count the Bucks out right now.
So you thinking the Bucks are winning the series?
4-0. You think Miami sweeps them?
Sweep.
No way.
I think Miami's winning it in 5. I think the Bucks will get 1, but forget about the defense. I mean, what do you see, AB?
I was furious that the series price was so low.
You think the Bucks
furious. I wanted
swept?
the Heat series price so bad, and I didn't bet it because my obsession with price. And I was just like, of course they're up 2-0.
Every sharp guy in the world was on it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we had it kind of low because I still felt like they're the right side, and we were still getting blasted for we went from I think like 430 down to like 350 or something before game 1 tipped. So I mean, clearly the Bucks, like he said, Bucks have looked terrible. They're whatever it is, they're not there, and I don't know.
But the Heat have been good.
Right, they've been lights
everyone's
out.
trashing the Bucks. Like the Heat are playing.
Oh, absolutely.
Well,
and they were legit.
There's no way I'm giving up on the Bucks
before the bubble. The Heat looked like a team that could cause problems in the East. Yeah. And now you're talking about a Heat team that's playing at their absolute best, well coached, a true star in the number 1 role. That has been. It was an absolute monster in game 1. The Bucks just look lost. I think
also if you go into the bubble like Butler and you're going in with a killer mentality and you're blocking out the world and it's just basketball and that's it.
Yeah.
I feel like they're the first team in this bubble that I feel like is actually approaching it in a really good way, which is we don't give a fuck what's going on outside. All we care about is this right now. And you guys in Milwaukee, we know what you're dealing with. We understand the problems that are happening with the police brutality and everything that's going on with Jacob Blake. But I feel like that has taken this team, and they're looking elsewhere. And the Miami Heat are like, we're here to play basketball. And Jimmy Butler's like to his family, stay home. I'm here to play basketball. And I think that is playing out on the court. And I also think that Spoelstra is a much better coach than Budenholzer. So I think of Budenholzer. So I think there's a big mismatch there in the coaching angle.
Yeah. It feels like the Bucks aren't making any adjustments. And,
well, it's all Giannis. It's like, please, Giannis, save us. Like,
but
Giannis, do something.
Lopez corner threes.
Right. Yeah, and that's it. That's not the answer. He's not making.
How many times are you going to shoot him? I mean, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
Well, and I mean, it's not – Chris Middleton played really well in the last game, but, like, he's not that type of guy. He's not going to be like, guys, get on my back, and I'm going to go and beat the Miami Heat by myself. And Tyler Hero, I mean, you got some guys here who are just coming off of pick and rolls and knocking down open threes like crazy. As a Celtics fan, if Boston plays Miami, I'm scared to death. I mean, that
was my last question.
I'm scared.
Who's the favorite? Who's the favorite, Matt? I'm going to get you the opportunity to go before the odds makers. If it's Celtics Heat, what's your line?
Celtics, I would say I would give it probably 120 Miami, minus 120 for the Heat.
Wow. AB, you got the Heat favor? You do, right?
Well, before these two series started, my order was Raptors, Heat, Celtics, Bucks, and I'm not joking. Wow. So I just really was so down on the Bucks. I thought they looked absolutely terrible against Orlando. They just had those little spurts of Giannis doing crazy stuff that was, letting them win by 12. And the Heat looked like a really good basketball team. The Celtics looked like a really good basketball team. And the Raptors look like a really big basketball team. And like you said, we have three really good coaches in the East and Budenholzer. So
right.
We're seeing that.
I think you guys are right on, Matt. I think you did a good job. You can come work in the risk room, think that's where you're going to see the Heat are going to be favored.
I think the Celtics would be favored, honestly. Yeah, me too. Even though I'm a huge Heat guy, I think the Celtics would be favored if they beat the
Heat sweep the Bucks. They're favored.
Still
I think minus 120, minus 115. I don't know. You might see it the other way.
Yeah,
but I can see the Celtics favored because it's the Celtics. If they close out the series in 5, yes, but the series price is just intriguing.
Here's a question. What about game 3? Can the Bucks win game 3?
Yeah.
Because they have to.
They're going to win. They're going to win game 3.
Get out the fork. And then
they're going to win. They're going to win game 3.
I think if they win a game, it's game 3. But, man, there better be adjustments. There better be fucking adjustments.
I bet Miami in game 1 plus 5.5 and Miami in game 2 plus 5. What's the line in game 3? I haven't even seen
5.
It.
They're laying
it's 5 again?
Yeah.
I'm back at Miami. I'm on Miami plus 5 again.
I don't get that. I keep making the argument like you have to adjust it, but nothing's changed. The venue's the same. They haven't traveled and blah, 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 blah. Are you watching the games? Are you watching
that's what it's 2-0. If nothing has changed, they keep on losing. What do you mean nothing's – I don't get that.
I think it's one of these things where, like, in theory, because they need the game more, the line would be going up. So the adjustment is
just to
bringing it back to where it was is what I think the angle, I guess, whatever you want to call it, is. Because I think if the Bucks were the Bucks, they'd probably be laying 7 down 2-0. But because they don't look like the better team, the line is staying stagnant. I don't know.
All right. That's fair enough. Our NHL talk is going to consist of one question. Game 7 tomorrow night. By the way, an update. The Flyers won in double overtime. Sorry, Matt. So we're going to have a Game 7 in that series. So we'll ask that question. So it's now 2 questions. Tomorrow night, Game 7. When you listen to the show, you'll be able to hear it, day of. Stars, Avs minus 125. Hockey guy, Matt Perrault. Who are you picking in Game 7?
No, we don't.
Well, I really do believe that Colorado is a better team, and that Dallas's offense has been sort of fluky. So I think the Avs are the better team. I'm going to take the higher potent offense. I think Colorado wins.
Close it out. I'm with you. You guys in the box. Anything there? Avs. Colorado.
I'm just picking Avs because I feel like everyone just picked Avs.
That's what Mo does. All right, Mo, ride the train.
Simple.
All right.
Easy.
Islanders, Flyers the following day. We'll have the Islanders probably small favorites, minus 115, 120 maybe. If it steams up, it'll go to a quarter. I'll reverse the order, Mo. You go first. Game 7, Islanders, Flyers. Who you got?
It's got to be Islanders. Because Jeff Davis kept calling them the Stylanders, and I liked it. So I was like, this name suits them advancing in this game here.
Junkyard _ Jeff Davis. You get the Islanders. AB, who you got?
Isles. Barry Trotz ain't losing 3-1 lead. I just don't see it happening. He'll figure it out for Game 7.
Matt Perrault, who do you got?
All right, so you guys can tell me if you're me, what you do. So I have the Islanders at plus 125 to win the series. So I have a hedge opportunity if I want to go ahead and bet the other side. Do you guys, you don't subscribe in hedging?
I don't believe in hedging.
Yeah, I knew it. I do.
AB fucking hates the hedge.
I know. Everyone loves it. Everyone says it. Don't hedge. You're a real gambler. I don't give a shit. I like to cash tickets.
I like
winning is pretty cool.
In the course of 20 years,
yep,
the hedges that you lose will cost you the ones you won.
It's fair. I mean, in terms of like over the course of time.
Yes.
It's a Game 7 in hockey where it's kind of feels like a coin flip given where we are.
Yep.
So it's kind of like I can go ahead and bet on the Flyers, and then I guarantee I can go ahead and at least get my bet back to kind of bet up to that.
At worst, what I would do if I was you, if you can take the goal and a half, you take the goal and a half if you don't have to lay too ridiculous of juice.
Okay.
And then the Islanders win the game by 1 and you cash both tickets.
Bang, bang.
You create a middle that way rather than a hedge. You can
Take
win
it.
both. You can't lose both.
Right.
So, that would be my thing. And I'm going to book all of you. I'm going to take the Flyers just because
Okay.
I a big win like that, you want to talk about like the Raptors win, a double overtime game win in Game 6 may carry over into Game 7. So that's where I'll go with that.
We might have a game. By the way, we might have a Game 7. It's 2-0 Canucks right now with 18 to play in the third. So.
Oh, I took the goal and a half on pushing the odds with you today.
Yes, you did.
I have the Canucks. All right, there you go. That's good.
Yeah, I took the Knights on the puck line, unfortunately. So
yes, you did.
Not good for me here.
No,
I'm gonna go 0-2 in hockey, but at least the second period hit once. So I'm gonna go 1-3 on my hockey bets today.
66-foot putt over the last weekend by John Rahm to cash all the tickets and rip the hearts out of anyone that had Dustin Johnson and just complete pain right there after what DJ did to get there. I don't know about you guys. My only thing about the golf this week is I don't understand the fucking scoring and how they're starting ahead, that, and I have golf fatigue. So we called golf the NFL of betting a few months ago, Matt, because everyone was betting on it. Everyone jumped in space. Everyone was talking about it. You were talking about it on the show. You were giving out picks every week.
I was getting killed.
I
was getting killed.
Do you have anybody this week in golf?
No, I stopped betting golf. I got my teeth kicked in. I like head-to-heads. I hate betting. No, I think for a field of 135 guys to close your eyes and throw a dart at someone to win a tournament is just, you have to sprinkle so much money around on a golf tournament to actually come close. And if you bet on 5-6 golfers and then they all screw and don't do well, then you're just toast.
Right.
I just feel like golf is so I like betting head-to-heads. But I can't tell you how many hole 18 missed putts or bogeys or birdie bogey flips where I've been leading the entire round and my guy's about to win and he bogeys 18 and the guy that I'm playing birdies it and I lose. Yeah. I just stopped betting golf. I punted.
Good idea. And Tony Finau probably took you down a few times as well.
With him betting on him and against him both. Yeah, I couldn't figure out that dude.
Yeah. Nobody can. You're not the only one, man. Yeah. It's just a part of the world.
It's like
Finau's going to win one, and he'll be celebrated on cash considerations. But
when he does,
I'm going to hate him forever.
We might need Matt to help us get him on the show. If we can find a way to get Tony Finau on the show. We were big Tony Finau fans on Thursdays, but we knew the Finau falter
Sunday
was going to happen on Sunday. We talked about it for months.
He's like Phil in majors. He just falls apart. He just can't.
Sometimes he'll start early and just get destroyed on Saturday, and then shoot a 65 to send a fuck you to everyone.
Right, exactly. You're absolutely right. You're 100% right. He'll just blast it.
Yep.
Yeah. He'll just blast it because then you're like, oh, he sucks. I'm fading him, and all of a sudden he just rips your heart out.
Oh yeah, like
matchup killer.
Six consecutive birdies. Yeah. Oh dude, matchup killer.
That's the Finau fuck you.
Finau's man.
That's called the Finau fuck you.
Well, okay, before we're done, if it is a Game 7, because it's tomorrow, Game 7.
Only 1, 2.
Back to back?
Yeah, it's back to back. Game 7's tomorrow.
Fleury's going to play?
Knights and Canucks. You think Fleury's playing Game 7? If Marc-Andre Fleury plays in Game 7, oh my goodness gracious, if that happens.
We're betting over. Just hit the over button tomorrow.
Without a doubt. If it's Fleury, hit the over. Yes.
I was like straight to Pittsburgh if he loses.
Boom.
It's seriously, right? Yeah, if he loses, it's like, see you, bud. I appreciate it, man. Sell the house. Man. Sell the Summerlin house. Goodbye. See you later.
Hopefully they'll let him take that dog with him.
Oh, you don't like Fleury? Oh, my God.
Marc-Andre Fleury. Marc-Andre Fleury can go with him.
Man, that's a brutal crowd right there.
So we have 2 Game 7s on a Friday night, by the way. That's a fun Friday night. 2 Game 7s.
That's going to be great. Clear the calendar. Right. All right, one baseball question because we're running out of time.
Really?
Matt, who's the best team in baseball not named the Los Angeles Dodgers?
I think it's such a dumb thing to say the Padres. So I'm not going to say the Padres. I'll say the Rays.
Right there, baby.
The Dads.
I was waiting for this all night. I pulled this one out of the closet.
It's such a square chalk play to say, oh, the Padres because of Fred Tatis Jr. and everything else. I mean, but I bet the Rays to win the American League, so I'm taking the Rays plus 1,000.
There it is.
Have you heard of the Fonzie parlay?
What is that?
Okay. if you don't, okay. So the show
was trending.
It was a lot of traffic. It was trending on Twitter months ago. You can search
way back.
It was there.
Way back.
But it was a thing we discovered. Actually, AB brought it out in the Take a Minute segment.
Okay.
Legendary.
Okay.
A's, Rays, and Jays. The Fonzie parlay. It has hit 6 times, right, AB, or 7?
6 out of, I think, like 18 or 19.
Yeah. When they play each other, right, you can't play it. But we've had Henry Winkler himself in it. He won't respond, but the GIFs have been great. The Fonzie parlay is a cash consideration special parlay, and it's worthy of a play probably the rest of the season. I mean, it's hit 6 times. It's going to hit at least 2 or 3 more times. But you got to play
it. It almost hit last night but the A's game got canceled.
Yes.
So it almost hits last. It almost hits last
Paid as a
night.
2-teamer last night, right?
Yeah.
No, you can't. You can't. No, it's got to be minimum of 3.
Minimum of 3. All right.
Oh man, we put the A's twice. One time when they had the doubleheader, that
Correct.
was pretty wild. It was Jays, Rays, and A's and A's.
Because it was A's, Jays, Rays, and A's.
Hey.
Well, all these A's games being postponed.
The Astros crushed us.
Twice.
You're going to have a chance to bet the A's because the A's are going to play. The A's are going to play like every day in the month of September. Like they're going to play doubleheaders.
Yeah,
like
no
crazy,
more off days. No more off days.
So they're going to play every day.
Every day.
There are 20 games tomorrow. That's what life is coming to. 20 motherfucking baseball games tomorrow.
Oh, man.
It's a record. You can't make it up.
5 doubleheaders tomorrow.
You can't make that up.
That's going to be such a mess.
Yep.
I don't even think we put up overnights. I don't think we did. I think
nobody is. That's why I'm passing on all of it. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
I want no part of it.
See ya.
See ya. I want no part.
All
Screw
right.
that.
Goodbye.
Before we get to the Take a Minute segment, I wanted to talk about the Gaming Today digital subscription, but we should also mention how it all got started. The Vintage Gaming Today print edition can be found in virtually every sportsbook in Nevada, as well as sportsbooks and casinos in 9 other states. You get award-winning content analysis, stats, selections, gaming industry news, casino news, and more. From Oregon to Pennsylvania, it's Gaming Today in vintage print form. If your favorite book doesn't carry it, ask management to contact support at gamingtoday.com. So the paper's getting in casinos all over the country. We got games all day, every day in this bubble. We got a lot of things going on, but we got to take a minute before we get out of here. Mo, you were tardy. You slept in last week. You got a fresh-ass haircut at the shop. You get to go first tonight. You got the mic. Take a minute in 3, 2, 1.
I actually think I might be the greatest WNBA odds maker of all time.
It's a long list.
I don't know if I can follow it up with any other details, but I'll start letting you guys know week by week how this is possible. That's it.
Robert Walker might argue with you, by the way.
1,000%. That's getting cut
Robert
off.
Walker might. Sorry.
I don't know I can't even laugh at it. That's just, I'm looking at the scores. I look at these lines every day. I'm like, I can't lose. I can't lose at this. But I can't.
Are the Aces winning it all?
Because if it starts losing, then the confidence gets shot. It's a different world. I'm living a different life.
Just remember it's a simulation and you'll be okay.
The simulation's brutal.
Shit.
I need to get out of the simulation.
All right, that's it. That's your minute. Let's move. He's at These Takes, Motoy Pearson, the best WNBA handicapper walking planet Earth.
It was Matt Metcalf, but I'm taking over. It was.
Not anymore.
But I'm taking over now.
At Circus Sports.
Take over time.
Motoy Pearson. AB, 1 minute. Anything? Ready, set, go.
I got nothing.
Yes, sir. There it is. All right. High noon
fucking bullshit.
at %Berg. He's got nothing.
I'm following that. The greatest WNBA handicapper of all time. Like, it's the comedy and the confidence alone.
I thought you were good there. Setting you up.
I don't know.
And we are going to go. Wow, the Canucks just scored 3-0. We're going to have a Game 7. Mark
Knights are doomed, I promise.
Fleury in net. Hello.
Get that dog ready.
Oh, my goodness. Start packing the shit up. Matt Perrault at Sports Talk Matt. I mean, I don't know how you're going to keep it to a minute because you got a lot of shit to say all the time. You're tremendous follow on Twitter.
Reynolds is going to throw up a timer.
Yep. Ready, set, go.
I'm going to say this because of the audience that I'm in here and with you guys in terms of where we are. But one of the things that I think on my side of the counter and one of the things that with media, how we get going and how we're going to learn from you guys is that I think podcasts like this need bigger audiences, bigger stages, and more conversations because there are so much shit that we don't understand and we don't know that you guys give to us. And Dave, you've given it to me for 2.5 years now on the radio where I've learned so much from you guys. But I think more people need to realize what goes into making lines and what goes into actually doing this business and how difficult it is, what you guys do, but in the risk room. I think so many people are just, they don't shop for lines. They don't know what's going on. They just walk up to the teller and just, are either nervous or scared or whatever. Breaking down that barrier in entry and getting people more involved, podcasts like what you guys are doing, I think is really cool. So I thank you for letting me come on and have a conversation with you guys about sports gambling and where you are. But, I look up to you guys and what you have from an industry standpoint and the knowledge you have is really something that a lot of us on my side of the counter need to tap into. So I appreciate the invite.
Oh, this guy's drank more high noons than me.
That is at Sports Talk Matt. If you don't follow him, you better. And tweet at him because he loves it. He talks about anything. He's got a text line on the radio show. You can get at him that way. It's all over the place. And this Daily Juice podcast is a fun listen. It was while I was commuting, that was part of my daily commute because I had to just hear what you're saying. And whether I agreed with the picks or not, fade or follow, you're there every damn day. Better than Nike, you bring it every damn day. So thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you.
You're the best, brother. You're the best.
Yes,
appreciate
absolutely.
the invite, guys. Anytime you want me back, let me know.
My 1 minute is going to be quick. Homeschool.
No chance.
I'm done with homeschool. We're 1 weekend. It's it. We're done. That's it.
That's it.
We're done. I've started this drinking thing during the day. It's great.
Yeah. Feel that.
By lunchtime, I don't care about it anymore. I don't care.
You're just numb.
That's it. It's good. By then we're good. So homeschool, it's only September fucking 3rd. We got a long way to go, boys.
Thank God for Labor Day.
This far.
We got Monday off.
That's my minute. For the boys, the show is at GT Cash Consider. Please follow the show, share the show, rate the show, review the show so we can keep bringing on guys like Matt Perrault and having guests every single week. For Alan Berg, at %Berg, at These Takes, Motoy Pearson, at producing the show, the best in the business, I am Reynolds, 2305. HB is not here, but he's at Gaming Today News. Follow him. And my Twitter handle is still and not changing. It's going to be at Sports BK Consig, Sportsbook Consigliere. For the video feed, that's what I got for all of you. I'm not changing.
Hey, hold
that's
on.
it.
I want to follow you. How do you spell that?
Sports BK Consig. That's how you spell it. All you need to do is search sports. The shit comes right up. See you guys next week. Thanks for listening.